Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. My name is Lily Tran. Today's story we'll be reading is The Life of Sariputta, compiled and translated from the Pali text by Nayana Panika Thera. Part 2, Maturity of Insight, the Unresentful, 2 of 3. The Venerable Sariputta's humility was as great as his patience. He was willing to receive correction from anyone, not only with submission, but with gratitude. It is told in the commentary to the Devaputta Samyutta, Susama Sutta, that once through a momentary negligence, a corner of the elder's underrobe was hanging down, and a 7-year-old novice, seeing this, pointed it out to him. The Venerable Sariputta stepped aside at once and arranged the garment in the proper equally circular way. Then he stood before the novice with folded hands, saying, "Now it is correct, teacher." There is a reference to this incident in the Questions of Melinda, where these verses are ascribed to the Venerable Sariputta, one who this very day at the age of 7 has gone forth. If he should me, I accept it with bended head. At sight of him, I give him ardent zeal and regard. With respect, may I again and again set him in the teacher's place. On one occasion, the Buddha mildly reproved Sariputta for not having carried his teaching far enough. When the Brahmin Dhananhani was on his deathbed, he was visited by the Venerable Sariputta. The elder, reflecting the Brahmins are bent on the Brahma world or union with Brahma, taught the dying man the way to it through the Brahma Viharas. As a result, it is said the Brahmin was in fact reborn there. When the Venerable Sariputta returned from the visit, the master asked him, "Why, Sariputta? And while there was more to do, did you set the Brahmin, the Nanhani's thoughts on the inferior Brahma world, and then rising from your seat, leave him?" The Venerable Sariputta replied, "I thought, these Brahmins are bent on the Brahma world. Should I not show the Brahmin Dhananhani the way to the communion with Brahma?" The Brahmin Dhananhani has died. Sariputta said, "The Buddha, and he has been reborn in the Brahma world." This story, which is found in the Dhananhani Sutta of the Mahima Nikaya 97, is interesting as an illustration of the undesirability of rebirth in an inferior Brahma world for one who is capable of bringing rebirth entirely to an end. For while the Buddha himself sometimes showed only the way to Brahma, as for example in the Tavya Sutta, it seems probable that in case of the Nanhani, the master saw that he was fit to receive a higher teaching, while the Venerable Sariputta, lacking the capacity of knowing others' hearts, or Lakya Avinya, was not able to discern that fact. The result is that the Nanhani will spend an incalculable period in the Brahma world and will have to take human birth again before he can achieve the goal. The Venerable Sariputta received another gentle rebuff when, having asked the Buddha why it was that the sasana of some of the Buddhas of the past did not last very long, and the Buddha had replied that it was because those enlightened ones did not preach very much. Dhamma, did not lay down regulations for the disciples, nor institute the recital of the Patimokkha Sariputta, said that it was now time for the Blessed One to promulgate the regulations and to recite the Patimokkha, so that the holy life might last for a long period. The Buddha said, "Let it be, Sariputta. The Tathagata himself will know the time for it. The master will not lay down regulations for the disciples, nor recite the Patimokkha until signs of corruption have appeared in the Sangha." The disciples concerned that the sasana should endure as long as possible is characteristic of Sariputta. Equally characteristic was it of the Buddha that he did not wish to lay down regulations until such time as it was absolutely necessary to do so. He went on to explain that at that time, the least advanced member of the Sangha was a Sariputta, or perhaps a fact of which the Venerable Sariputta was not aware. And therefore, it was not yet necessary to lay down the rules of the bhikkhu life. The Kattuma Sutta records another occasion when the great elder was admonished by the master. A large number of monks, newly ordained, as the commentaries tell us, by the Venerable Sariputta and Mahamoggallana, had come with the ladder to pay their respects to the Buddha for the first time. On arrival, they were allotted quarters and started chatting with the resident monks of Kattuma. Hearing the noise, the Buddha summoned the resident monks to question them about it, and was told that the commotion was caused by the new arrivals. The text does not say the visiting monks were present at the time, but they must have been, for the Buddha addressed them with the words, "Go away, monks, I dismiss you. You should not stay with me." The newly ordained monks left, but some persons intervened in their behalf, and they were allowed to return. The Buddha then said to the Venerable Sariputta, "What did you think, Sariputta, when I dismissed the group of monks?" The Venerable Sariputta replied, "I thought the Blessed One wishes to remain unconcerned and to abide in the state of happiness here and now. So we too shall remain unconcerned and abide in the state of happiness here and now." "Hold, Sariputta, do not allow such a thought ever to arise in you again," the Buddha said. Then turning to Mahamoggallana, he put the same question. "When the Blessed One dismissed those monks," replied Mahamoggallana, "I thought the Blessed One wished to remain unconcerned and to abide in the state of happiness here and now. Then I and the Venerable Sariputta should now look after the community of monks." "Well spoken, Moggallana, well spoken," said the master. "It is either myself or Sariputta or Moggallana who should look after the community of monks. The sutta account is lacking in certain details which would place the story in the proper light necessary for an understanding of all its implications. But it is possible that since the monks who had been dismissed were pupils of Sariputta and Mahamoggallana, the elder wished to show his displeasure with them and to indicate by his aloofness that they had behaved badly." Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.